Good morning from Muskrat Lake in the Three Sisters Wilderness, a seldom visited place. This is where I got to after 19 miles yesterday. At the end of the day, it was hot and I didn't have enough water, so I arrived pretty beat up. The one blessing is that the mosquitoes are not an issue. There's a couple of them, but it's like the August version of mosquitoes, not the July version. So I'm pretty pleased about that. I'm filtering water for my trip ahead. I've got some oatmeal and coffee. I'm starting the gear organization. Haven't broken down the tent yet. But yeah, didn't sleep great, but it was restful anyway, and it was extremely quiet. Something big ran past at some point in the night, but I don't know what it was. I've got 14 miles to go today to get back to my car. And most of that's going to be on good trail. I have 5 miles to get back to the PCT. So that's going to be more like this, where it's not a great trail and there's blowdowns and stuff like that. So that first bit of the day will be a bit rough. But after that, the PCT and the other trail will be smooth sailing. So a little bit of a report on the pack that I'm using. This is a Durston Kakwa 55, meaning it has a 55 liter capacity. The one I've been using for the past 5 years was the Gossamer Gear Mariposa 60. Both kind of fall into the ultralight gear category. With everything in it right now, including food and water, it's probably like 20 pounds. My base weight is like 14 pounds maybe, meaning without food and water, because that goes up and down. And based on what I did yesterday, 19 miles with a lot of like jumping over trees and stuff, it sat really solid on my back and I barely even knew it was there. So just off my initial use of it so far, I'm a big fan. Okay, goodbye Muskrat Lake. Finally getting rolling here at about 8 a.m. after a leisurely morning. So I've got this sketchy little trail to follow for like 5 miles. In about half that distance, I'm going to come to Winnipie Lake, and that's what this trail's named after. And then after that, I climb up to join the PCT. And that's where the trail quality issues should subside. I mean, this doesn't look too bad right now, but coming in yesterday, this trail had a good amount of blowdowns on it. Nothing crazy, but it's not something I would want to come back and do again. Last night's rain never transpired. It had a 40% chance of rain starting at like 11 p.m. Nothing. And it also showed a chance of showers today, and it does not look like it. It's perfectly clear, nice and cool in the morning. And I'm going to be in the shade most of today. Pretty much in forest the whole day. So my first stop is going to be Desoon Lake, which is a little bit after I get to the PCT. I'm going to stop there, take a break, and fill up on water. A little more than a mile in so far. It's really not a bad trail. In the parts where there's not blowdowns, it's pretty cruisy. Easy to find, gets enough traffic that it hasn't fallen into oblivion like the one I was on yesterday. I'd still call it a 2 on the blowdown scale because it's more than just the occasional step over. There's some where you have to get creative and crawl around stuff, but it's not just a constant absolute struggle. And it's a pretty forest, mix of true fir, grand fir, western white pine, and hemlock, mountain hemlock. Understory of vanilla leaf and various berry bushes, none of which are fruiting yet. And boy, the lack of mosquitoes sure is something nice, I must say. Not bad. So here's an example of what I'm talking about, why it's not just a 1. Get to stuff like this, you're like, okay, what do we do? You're not crawling under it. Going over it looks a little tough. Maybe there, maybe here. So there's places where you have to problem solve it. If I had to guess, I'd say this place hasn't been logged out in maybe 3 or 4 years, because it does show some evidence of cutting, but nothing recent. And it definitely needs it. Let's get to it. Okay, I'm at the first junction, 2.3 miles from Muskrat Lake, Snowshoe Lake. So this trail winds up past 2 of the snowshoe lakes and then rejoins the PCT in the direction I'm going. Originally, I was thinking, hey, that could be kind of cool instead of doing the PCT. But I went on All Trails and read some user comments. Apparently the blowdowns are really bad, and it gets bad enough that in some places people said that the trail basically disappeared. So I won't be going that way. I will be going this way, where I have another about 2.5 miles to get to the Pacific Crest Trail. Winnipie Lake is somewhere out there. I don't know that I get all that close to it. It's kind of a big marshy lake with lots of waterfowl in it. But things are going okay so far. Onward. Winnipie Lake. Like I said, a big marshy lake. I think I even see a beaver dam kind of out in the middle there. Wow. All right, 4.3 miles in, I finally made it off of the Winnipie Lake Trail, which got ever more faint as I walked up it. I'm now on the Pacific Crest Trail, so trail conditions should be much better. And I have, I think, like a mile or so to get to DeSoon Lake, and I'm going to stop there to take a break and recharge my water and eat some snacks and such. After all the hiking I've done so far on this trip, it's interesting to see so many footprints, and obviously places where dozens of people have camped. Pacific Crest Trail has a crazy allure to it. So we'll probably see some people, although most of the people doing the hike this year would be in Northern California at this point. Also, if I'm going northbound, the only way I'm going to see them is if we pass each other, or if I stop for a rest. But it's nice to be in what feels like civilization again. I get the feeling this one is used to seeing campers. Pretty unafraid. It's the second time I've seen deer this morning. Earlier I saw a doe with 2 fawns. They took off pretty quick. So DeSoon Lake is right over there through the trees. And as I pass there, I come to this point and start to go downhill. This right here is actually the Cascade Crest. So that water there drains to the Deschutes. And this water here drains into the South Fork of the Mackenzie River. So I'm also entering Willamette National Forest instead of Deschutes National Forest. But it's a weird thing about this part of Oregon. The crest isn't like the kind of crest that you think about, where it's a pass that you go up and over. It's just a random place in the forest. Doesn't feel any different. In this part of the Three Sisters, sometimes referred to as the Mink Lakes Basin, there's just one lake after the other. And they're not all the marshy, nasty kind like I was seeing yesterday. They're nice, deep blue ones with nice campsites. This one is called Mac Lake. A bit out of reach for the day hiker, but a great place to overnight. After almost 10 miles, I've reached the junction with the PCT and the Six Lakes Trail. So I'm going to take that trail there, up that hill, over the crest, down to Blow Lake, and then, no, down to Doris Lake, and then continue back to my car. Considering the temperature, which is pretty warm, and my general beat up state from this walk, I thought it wise to take a second break for the day with 5 miles left. And I might just take a nap. Okay, only got about a half-hour break. A little bit after I sat down, I started hearing some rumbling, and it took a while for me to register that it was thunder. And now it's kind of clouded over mostly, and things seem to be moving my way. And I don't have any internet signal, so I can't see where the storm is. And I figure it's best for me to start hot-footing it towards my car so I don't get caught in a downpour or something worse. So on we go. Got a little less than 2 miles to the top of the hill, and then it's downhill all the way back to the car. All right, completed the climb. Luckily, it was a very nicely graded one, so I could just fly up it. Now I'm on the downhill for the rest of the way part. The storm is getting closer behind me. The thunder is nearly constant. There haven't been any close strikes or anything, but it does feel like it's getting closer. I just got a signal when I got to the top of the pass, but it's too weak to pull up the weather map. All it's showing is a bunch of lightning strikes like right behind me. It's not showing me the clouds though. I'm going to check again in a little bit, but it's not really going to change anything. So mostly what I want to do is kick it into high gear and hustle down the last 3 miles of trail, maybe a little bit more than 3.